Welcome back to Behind the Blind. We are in Saskatchewan, and this podcast is brought to you by Tetra Herring. Find them online at tetraherring.com, and we are going to be giving away some sunglasses and some swag from Blue Otter Polarized. That will come a little bit later in the show. Stand by for that, as this is the final podcast from the...
we got a winner?
Yeah, we do. We do. We got a winner. We're going to announce that at the end of the show. But it's the final podcast of the season. We're done.
Pretty wild.
This is it for the season, at least until we go back to North Dakota in late August. But this is it. This is the wrap for season 11.
That's wild.
I thought it said season 12.
We can literally find 9 months out of the year to hunt.
I was going to say, because you know when season 12 starts? Like 3 months.
Yeah.
It's not very long.
Add the premiere in there, and you got 2 months of freeless Heartland Waterfowl.
July is the free month that our wives get of us not talking out loud about hunting and Heartland Waterfowl. So you're welcome, wives. You get July. I don't know what else you could ask for.
In all actuality, it would be more like 4 to 5 months if it wasn't for this May trip.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's cool that we get to break that up with that one trip. Not to say that we won't still have content for you on the Heartland Waterfowl YouTube channel. So be looking for new stuff to come. In fact, we'd love to hear from you what you would like to see from us. Would you like more fishing, more turkey footage? You know, what?
Turkey footage?
Yeah, turkey hunting.
Oh.
Yeah.
How about snow goose footage?
Would you like to see more of that?
We had a lot of it today.
I think we max out on the snow goose footage. In fact, we kind of maxed out on the snow goose footage today because we shot a 3-man limit.
We did.
How about that?
I changed out with Q as the cameraman. And I hit record twice before the card was full. And I looked at Q and I was like, well, the card's full. I guess I'm done. And he's like, yep, no more card.
128 gigs, huh?
Yep.
256.
There's
a 256 gig card.
Your boy cooked.
It's still...
Q was cooking.
It's still dumping. The footage is still dumping.
No doubt. No doubt. However, the footage was not dumpy. It was good stuff. We, man, I don't know what. It's just we were talking about this, Alex. Like it seems like if we're on a trip and it's gonna rain and we're gonna have wind, then we're probably gonna get in. We're gonna get into them.
It was kind of the theme of the year. We ran into a lot of rain on a lot of trips this year. Oklahoma, we had the really good lesser hunt in the rain. Tornado Alley, it was really wet. We shot a lot of big honkers in the mud. It was muddy and greasy, but man, had some awesome hunts. And then today we kind of knew going into it, we had probably the best concentration of birds that we've hunted all week. There was a ton of birds feeding in this field, but not only that, there was like 3 other feeds, and this one was central to those other feeds. So you were literally, not only were you on the best feed, but you were smack dab in the middle of the rest. So we knew having a 20+ mile an hour wind, and thankfully, it was just a light, steady rain. It was steady, but it wasn't like pouring down rain.
No.
It like we weren't. I never once felt like I was
annoyed
by the wetness or whatever. And actually, while we were setting up, it kind of stopped raining for the time that we were setting up, which was kind of awesome.
Yep.
So just dealing with the mud and the slop of it raining all night long, it just adds to the work. We were talking about it after the hunt, where it's like, man, when you can just drive into the field, dump the decoys out, have all it. You know, you save almost 40 minutes or so, and now everything of us is covered in mud and slime and everything. But man, was it worth it? Because it was real hot and heavy there from about 5:15 to 6:30. It was getting it.
Well, heck, even maybe a little bit earlier than that, because we were talking about the fact that the birds flew earlier than they had been.
Yeah, that is weird. They flew super early. I thought they would sit tight this morning with that rain and everything, but they came out super
a couple
early.
of groups came out before shooting time, which is 4:51 or 4:52. There was groups flying at like 4:45.
Right. What a morning.
Yeah, and like strings.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just, the random scout bird or whatever you want to call it. And birds trading around, but water to water, they were coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. It was the first time on this trip where you went to go park the buggy, and it was still really dark at shooting time because of the overcast conditions due to the rain. And we're sitting there thinking, oh, what do we do? Should we wait for him to get back? And we're like, we can't really film it right now anyway because it's so dark, which we hadn't really had that experience this trip. But all in all, though, what a hunt. It got a little weird at the end where they, I don't know if they saw something they didn't like or they just really knew where they wanted to be. But the birds later in the morning were just not as cooperative as the birds in the first couple hours of the day.
Yeah, I just don't think they wanted to just bounce around like typical, I guess. All those birds later in the morning were coming off of a feed already, and I just don't think that they were, as interested as the birds that were coming off water that were going to the feed for the first time.
Yeah.
The wind, you mentioned 20-mile-an-hour wind. I felt like that we had a really stiff wind, and we were supposed to have a good, steady, stiff wind throughout the morning, but it actually didn't pan out to be as strong for as long as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, there was a few lulls in there. It's ripping now. I mean, it's probably blowing 30 plus out there right now.
look at the
And
top
it's
of those
and the
trees.
sun's out, which is hopefully going to dry a bunch of stuff out.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I mean, we had a good wind, but of course it's always like it feels like when the birds start working, you're like, oh, did the wind stop? But obviously it's the best wind we've had all week. Our hide was good, being able to be on that waterway, perfect for an east wind, which is you don't ever get a strong east-ish wind. And it just worked out perfectly. We were right in the spot that we needed to be.
Yeah.
And I was telling Logan on the drive back, typically the spring trip, even when whether we're hunting sheetwater or whether we're hunting just a field or whatever it is, you're still usually the MO of spring is pairs, 5-pack, 4s, singles. We've never really had a really big spin of birds, but man, when probably that second, I guess it was like our second or third volley, when that boil came off, and then you could just hear them come over that those birds that came from the back left corner were the birds.
Yeah, that was insane.
And they would just hook. And when you can hear that roar of all of them spinning, oh gosh, that was the one for me this morning.
That's exhilarating, no doubt. Yeah, the only thing that I can think of in past years where we hunt in the spring where we're finishing big groups of birds was that last morning, first time we ever hunted sheetwater, or we hunted water. The first year we came up here, we waited for those birds to come out. And when they came back, there were some big numbers that came back, but it still wasn't the same amount of birds that we were finishing.
Yeah, this is definitely the biggest
massive.
In the spring.
This was like stuff you would see in the fall.
Yeah. Yep. It looked like a typical fall hunt. Right. String after string after big group after string of birds consistently coming.
Yep.
And yeah, that's exactly what it was. So hopefully, I want to set up on that railroad tracks. I would really like to shoot them off the railroad tracks tomorrow.
Yeah. So we have an
okay.
idea. Yeah. So we have an idea for the other main feed. Was just south of us, maybe,
which is right off the highway.
Yeah, maybe a third of a mile, maybe quarter mile. It wasn't super far.
I want to sit right on those.
And that's where a lot
tracks.
of the birds went to later in the day, and that we are catching some coming from. And there's actually tomorrow it's a northeast wind. I think at 10 to 15. So the way that field sets up would be really good for that. So that's going to be the goal for the scout tonight is to try and find that. Run that landowner down and figure out what's going on there, and of course got a couple other options, but definitely that area has the most birds we've seen.
Yeah, and they have progressively showed up more and more and more in that area too. Since we've just there was birds over there, right? But I feel like it's a lot more than it was when we first got here, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Which you would know that you were the one scouting over there.
Yeah. Well, the other thing we have to take into account too is that 2 of the 4 hunts that we've been here, 2 of the 4 days that we've been here to hunt are been migration days.
Yeah, that's true.
We've had new birds come in.
Southeast winds.
Yeah. Like
Light
the first day we didn't.
sunny.
The second day we saw migrators. The third day we broke down migrators. Yeah. And today we're reaping the benefits of a bunch of new birds that showed up to the area. So
talk about 4 different days of hunting.
No doubt.
Think about that.
No
I mean,
doubt.
literally there's not been a hunt that's been anywhere close to the same. They've all been completely different in their own different ways.
Yeah.
Which is something you don't typically get either,
No.
The other thing I've noticed too, and we've talked about it probably in past podcasts and things we were talking about on the way up, typically in the spring, we're shooting all adults. So this is our 4th spring.
Yep.
And the 3 previous springs, we're talking we've shot 600-ish birds probably around there in the 3 trips, and we've killed 1 or 2 juvies. This trip, however,
more
I'd
juvies.
say 30%
Sure,
doobies. We've
yeah.
shot
And
quite a few.
You've seen some of those like second year birds where there's like hardly any gray on it, but there's still a little bit. You know, it's like they're not.
They're those awkward teenagers.
That's exactly what it is.
They're
That's
the
exactly
ones
what
with
it
the
is.
zits that are
Yeah.
trying to find their way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's funny.
Gonna go check out some hot chicks.
Hey, it's that time of year, you know.
Right?
They're
Sounds
trying
like
to.
Alex might have once been that awkward.
Yeah. They're trying to find their prom date right now.
No doubt. So anyway, all in all, we're what a great trip. It really has been a great trip. It's not finished yet. However, we won't have another podcast for you to kind of sit in camp with us. Because once we get done hunting tomorrow, we're going to be packed up and ready to hit the road to drive, whatever it is, 10, 12 hours to North Dakota to spend the night before we haul it in back to Missouri. Let's, being that this is the last podcast of the season, let's kind of talk about some of our, favorite trips of the year. I mean, Alex kind of hit on a few with the rain hunts that we've had throughout the season. And before we get to that, remember that we're going to announce a winner at the end of this podcast. So hang tight for that from Blue Otter Polarized. Logan, I'll start with you. Kind of, we've been all over the map, dude. What are some of the top 3 or top 2 trips or hunts that really kind of stand out to you from season 11?
Well, I guess I'll start with the easy one. Okay. The episode for the premiere, which is coming up on June 28th, 9th. The golf tournament's on the 28th.
Correct.
And the premiere's on the 29th, but we are showcasing our episode with S-Bar Outfitters down in Oklahoma. And yeah, that was a fun hunt. It kind of themed in with exactly what Alex mentioned earlier is one of those, rainy. We had a rainy hunt that was phenomenal. We had a duck hunt that was awesome. Couple other lesser hunts that were really just an all-around solid trip. Great group of guys.
Great group.
We hadn't been back to Oklahoma in 7, 8 years. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So it was just time to go and do that again.
It was cool to do something new.
Something different.
Yeah.
It's just Oklahoma's a good little area if when it's right. The lessers are good. You can find a good peanut field. Kind of like the pea fields up here.
I think that was a new one for me.
Yeah.
I'm
The
trying to remember
peanuts.
if I don't think I ever hunted a peanut field until then.
Oh yeah, we were just digging them up and eating them the whole time. Best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I wanted a field that was honey roasted. But they didn't offer that.
They don't have those. We were talking about our favorite nuts yesterday, and yeah, you're a honey roasted guy. Salted cashews, man. Other than that, what
Can we
else?
find a salted cashew field, please?
Yeah, exactly. The ducks would like that. I guarantee it.
I bet they would.
Other than that, man, I love this spring trip more and more. Obviously love fall Canada when we come up for the fall. Both of them have a different feel to them. They're completely different trips. We target snows in the fall, but you hunt them way different in the spring than you do in the fall up here.
Yeah.
And it's scouting's a different animal. The birds are in different places.
They act different too.
They act way different.
They're not as consistent with their feeds in the spring as they are in the fall.
No, and most of the fields are all raked, so the hides are difficult.
Right.
There's just a lot of different stuff that goes on, but I thoroughly enjoy the Canada trips every year. Love going up to North Dakota. It's really, really hard.
He's just going to mention all of them.
I mean,
So I really like.
what do you want me to do?
I said name the top 2 or 3, and we're
Well,
we're on 4 or
Oklahoma's
5.
up there. Let's just keep going down the line. I love Texas. Let's go shoot some cranes and some quail. Have a good time with the Tornado Alley guys. That's a fun hunt.
Yeah, no doubt.
Home, I don't really like to hunt home much.
I don't.
I'm just kidding. No, we had for the El Nino year, quote unquote, which to be honest, I was thinking about this 10 years ago. We had El Nino and we struggled. North Dakota trip was terrible. We had a
it's difficult for everybody.
really rough
El
year.
Nino years are difficult for everybody.
And this year, we just had we didn't have really any bad hunts, but we didn't
have any good
just
ones either.
absolutely wreck them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say more than not, I feel like we do at least one good, really, really good hunt on each trip. I don't know that we necessarily had that, but it was all just solid. Everything was solid. We from top to bottom, we just had solid hunts. It's not like we got our dick kicked in or anything like that, or teeth kicked in, whatever you want to say. But it's all around solid hunts.
Yeah, the way I explain it when I talk to sponsors, and they're like, "Hey, how's your season been?" And I say, we're getting on them. They're just making us work harder for them. That was the way that I kind of would overarch, give the 30,000 foot view of how our season has been. We go to all of these different places, and we would have bad days just like anybody else. But all in all, compared to a lot of things that I've been hearing throughout much of the Central and Mississippi flyways of people who had struggles this season, was they struggled. Yep. And I don't feel like we necessarily struggled. We had struggle days, but the birds just made us work harder to find them and find the right locations to hunt them.
Yep.
The scouting was just a lot more rigorous.
Yep.
I guess than I would say that they have been in the past. But no, we picked on a few. Naturally, Canada is one of my favorite trips of the year, which I know is so weird for some to maybe, because we typically target snow geese when we come to Canada, and that's my probably least favorite waterfowl
arch
species
nemesis.
to hunt.
Ronnie loves snow geese.
I was going to say, now that I named every single episode, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
Which one was your favorite?
Well,
Canada?
Favorites is
favorite trip this year.
Favorite trip of the year.
This year.
The S-Bar was good, but I'm going to say that is 1B, and 1A would be Tornado Alley.
Yeah.
I really just...
You like the new lodge.
The lodge was cool. I really liked meeting Troy Ball from La Crosse. We had Gus and Ryan Bader from TriStar in camp with us. That was just really, really cool to have our shotgun sponsor, our boot and wader sponsor, and then... and it was a really, really spacious, very comfortable. And, those guys at Tornado Alley are brothers. They really, we've been with them since the very beginning.
Yep.
And they're just so much fun to hang around. It's one thing not to have a relationship just with them, but we have relationships with their wives and their kids. And we always have a family night, like cookout when we come to town. And that's just special. And let's face it, I think all of us would probably venture to say that in waterfowl hunting, although we love that pursuit of that species, it's that brotherhood that you have with the people that you hunt with that makes it what it is.
Yeah,
what makes it special.
Yeah,
it's why we do it.
Why you waterfowl hunt?
That place is definitely home, our second home.
That right there is why you waterfowl hunt versus go and sit in a tree stand by yourself.
That's just it. If you're watching a bow hunting show, let's just use Heartland Bow Hunter as an example. At the premiere, you're probably going to be watching, you're going to have a connection with Sean, and you're going to have a connection with that one white-tailed deer that he's pursuing in that episode.
Yeah,
you don't have
incher.
one, except for maybe Alex
Double
on
drop
that
time.
emperor goose hunt where you're trying to connect with one bird, one time, that one species.
But that's such a rare. That's
so rare.
That's not the norm.
You don't experience that. You rarely experience that, if ever, in waterfowl hunting. So you still have a connection with the species, but you have a connection more so with the people that you're doing it with, and that's why that's why I love this. That's why with you guys, and when we get to do it with Tornado Alley, who we've been doing this with for so long. It's just super extra special. But the cool thing about it too is I was mentioning S-Bar being 1B. Those guys are our guys. Like when you meet those people and you realize okay,
yep,
these are our guys.
Yep,
These are who they do it the right way. We are like-minded, and our sense of humor is the same. And these are guys that we can hang with and have a good time. And I really believe that these guys from S-Bar,
yep, they do it the right way.
They're gonna be like the next Tornado Alley, right? Like
Yep.
And that's not to say that we don't have that relationship with other people that we hunt with, like Aaron Garcia up there at High Plains Wing Shooters. We love them and their family, and Jennifer and his wife. We have a great relationship with her. But if I wasn't on the Wyoming hunt, so you're asking me my favorite hunts of the year, I would have to say Tornado Alley would be 1A, S-Bar 1B, and then I guess number 3 would be. I'm gonna have to go with the Canada Fall.
Canada Fall.
Yeah.
So 1A S-Bar, 1B Tornado Alley, C Fall Canada.
1C.
Well, there's a tie for first.
Number
which
3.
Means third place goes to Canada in the fall.
Gotcha.
Alex.
Well, it's funny you brought up Aaron and Jennifer and those guys at High Plains, because you obviously neither of you were on that. That was me and Dakota, Q, and Chaz this year. But that's one that I do every single year, that we all do every single year. And it's one of my favorites for sure. It's always awesome hunting. It's you go out there and it's the same thing. You know, it's like going out and you know, hunting with family. Zach and Rob and all those guys. This year the Chiefs were playing. We got to we ordered a bunch of pizzas and had all the guys come over to the Airbnb and hung out. And so it's just every year it's great hunting. Love shooting those big Canadas. Love hunting out of the pits. But then this year it was extra special and very memorable because that was when that insane cold front came down, and we were hunting in the coldest weather I've ever hunted in. So the year before we had the duck blizzard there at Tornado Alley. We were freezing our fingers off, and it was negative 25 wind chills and blowing 40 miles an hour. And this topped it for cold, because it was that one Saturday we hunted, it was negative 45 wind chill. Oof. And it was like, thank God that we were in the pits and we're with Aaron, because we had, I don't know, 5 buddy heaters going. It was almost like I had to be in short sleeves in the pit. Right. And then you come out into the elements and you instantly, with your eyelashes would freeze, your eyebrows would freeze. It was like nobody wanted to go get a bird because it was so comfortable in the pit. But hunting in those conditions were definitely something where I can go, man, I hunted in negative 45 degree wind chill. It was pretty wild. So I think the High Plains one, it's always
those guys are so cool.
It's
too.
always
you
a top
Zach
for
and
me.
Rob and Aaron. I mean, they are. We've been with them for several years now.
Yep.
They are special people.
I love going out there, and so
it's a really relaxed hunt. You know, from the standpoint that you don't have to put in the amount of miles that we typically do for scouting either, right?
They have some amazing spots that always have birds on them, and so you can go out there and we can hang out with those guys, scout around, check out the different pits that they have, see where the best flight lines are going to be, or where the best feed's going to be. And there's always good bird numbers out there. Mm-hmm. It's just, you can go out there and you can set the decoys, you can crawl in the pit, and we just have a blast. Like it's kind of a refreshing trip, because there's some trips that can get kind of exhausting. I mean, this trip can get exhausting, right? You got low sleep, you're driving, who knows? Sometimes we're driving, 60 miles away to try and scout and find birds. And there you can kind of go, that those guys have all their bases covered. They're best friends, and we can just go, relax, have fun, shoot some birds. That's always one I look forward to every year.
The scouting's super condensed there.
Yep.
Right. It's, but that's a special place. It's just out of the norm. It's not like anything else you'll ever hunt anywhere else in the country.
Yep.
It's just a special place, and it's unlike anything else. It's like the Masters.
That was really good. Now I got that Masters theme song stuck in my head. I mean, you show up, you dump the trailer with decoys, and then you crawl into the pit. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to set up any blinds. You don't have to no brushing in the blinds. The only thing you got to usually make sure of that time of year is that you have the buddy heaters.
Yep.
Because it'll be 60, 65 degrees in that pit, and then when you pop your head out, it could be 0 to 7 degrees.
It doesn't matter if it's 40 degrees outside. Aaron will have it 116 degrees inside the pit.
So that's your number one?
Yeah, that'd be my number one.
A tradition like any.
Number 2 is Oklahoma.
Unlike any of that.
Yeah, number 2 is Oklahoma, and one because it was a new trip, which is something different. I've never hunted Oklahoma before. The hunting was phenomenal, and like I said, those guys are awesome. So that being a new trip and cultivating those new relationships and stuff, we were going to go down and do some turkey hunting and stuff with those guys, and it just didn't end up panning out with our schedules. But making some new best friends for life. So that was definitely would be my second one. And then the Tornado Alley hunts were when I showed up, and man, that day that we shot all those geese, we did the hay bale pick, which is probably one of the coolest ones we've done in a long time.
Yeah. That was the day that Troy Ball from Lacrosse shot a band.
Yep. Yeah. And then the next day we hunted that little muddy sheetwater, nasty field. It got sloppy there too, and we just beat the brakes off of them. It was awesome. So those are definitely the ones that stick out in my mind the most. But kind of like Logan. I love them all. There's different things to love about each trip, and it's you get to experience being able to travel and see new places and meet new people and have these relationships everywhere. Even up here with some of the farmers that we hunt with, every single year, even the ones we don't. I text one of the guys that we haven't even hunted on for a couple of years, but I just texted him, hey, we're up here doing our hunting. Oh, hey, it's good to talk to you. Just keeping those relationships.
Sure, that's
being able to
crucial. Really, it's smart to do that.
It's just.
Are you talking about Alan?
Yeah. We're just very blessed to be able to. Sometimes it's easy to take for granted because we get to do so much that we start talking about this stuff, and it's like, holy cow, we've done 11 seasons of this, and we've almost done so much that it's easy to forget some of the crazy stuff that we've done in 3, 4, season 5. Like you really sit back and think about all the places we visited, all the it's incredible.
I wonder how many actual hunts we have filmed.
Oh my gosh,
hundreds,
thousands, some that have never made YouTube or TV.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, like, if you had to we went out this day and hunted, right? How many of those did we do?
Well, let's say you
4 to 5 hunts a trip.
Well, we used to do
13
back in the day before the kids and the wives and everything. We used to do 15, 16 trips a year.
About 15, yeah.
So even if you did 10 and you do 5 hunts a trip, right? That's 50 a season that are that's just not fun hunting and stuff too. So that's roughly 50 a season. And
which a duck season 60 days, and so we're hunting almost a complete duck season, call it.
Yeah.
But it's just spread out.
I'd say we filmed 700 or 800 hunts.
Wow. That's a lot of geese, a lot of ducks, a lot of snow geese, Ronnie. You shot a lot
and
of snow
one
geese.
emperor goose.
Yeah,
You've shot more snow geese than you have any other species.
There's no doubt.
On Heartland Waterfowl.
There's no doubt.
That's by design.
Man, I'm sitting here thinking about this, and a couple things come to mind. And you talk about kind of the gratitude that we have for being able to do this for as long as we have. I'll talk about that here in a second. But the other thing is that I'm like sitting here reminiscing now over the season and how blessed we truly are from the standpoint of the relationships that we have. Like we haven't mentioned Big Mike and Cody and Tyrell, from the first August trip that we do up in North Dakota. And that's not by design. It's not them personal. We have a freaking brotherhood with those guys, just like we have everybody else. Yeah. And then you start thinking about that and you're like, yeah, that trip's pretty badass too. Gosh dang, do I really
twice?
Do I want to put that?
It's so badass. Right. We do it twice.
Yeah. And then you think of Nate and Marsha and all these people and just how truly blessed. And then you start feeling bad because you're ranking these people or this particular trip over that one because you really value the one that you didn't mention. And so I guess what I'm ultimately saying is that all of these trips are extra special to us.
Yeah. We need
the people are really special to us.
We need like an ending credit, like at the movie where it says like special thanks to, and then it just rolls down the whole. Yeah. This list would be long.
We could do that.
It would be a really long list.
It would go on and on and on. The other thing that I was talking about in regards to the whole gratitude thing is that we try really hard to not act spoiled or take it for granted. But I think it's human nature that when you do something for as long as we've been doing it, you do take it for granted. I think, like, for example, I took it for granted on that first morning when we only shot 14 snow geese. I've been on so many hunts up here in the last 10 years, 11 years, whatever it's been that I've been coming up here, to where we're shooting close to limits or we're shooting up in the 60s to 80s. I mean, it depends on how many hunters you have. With only 3, you can only shoot 20 birds per person, and in case you don't know and you're watching this. And so then when you only finish with 14, you're like, gosh, that was kind of a shitty day. But in actuality, like there were people who would die to come up here and experience that and shoot 14 birds, right? So right. That makes me feel guilty. Like, gosh dang, I kind of took that for granted. But I think it's only human nature that, when you do something, as long as we've been doing it at the level of which we've been doing it, that you do take it for granted, but it's obviously not with any...
Well, you just expect results. You
have high expectations.
You put yourself in that position, right? You spend all the time driving around. You spend the time asking farmers for permission, this, that, and another, whatever the case may be, and you set yourself up for something that you anticipate it to be very, very good, and then you're let down, right?
Yep.
And
No doubt.
and that's what ultimately keeps you coming back.
Yep.
And if that never happened, then we wouldn't be here because we'd be bored and moving on
Right.
to something different, you know?
Yeah.
But ultimately, Ronnie just keeps coming back to the snow goose, and we all love it.
Yeah.
He loves coming up here secretly. He doesn't want to tell anybody, but he just absolutely just can't get enough of the snow goose.
That's
And it feels
actually
good,
not
don't it?
accurate.
Yeah.
That's actually not
Okay,
accurate.
we know your repressed feelings. That's fine.
I just need an excuse to get out of the house. And no, I'm just kidding. Wife and kids. No, I mean it is fun. Hunting snow geese in Saskatchewan is just different than it is hunting it back in the States.
It's just it's different in
It's
general
special.
for the time of the year
Yeah.
and the way that the birds act. Like Alex and I were talking earlier, they don't do the fall get up and stir around, you know, as the giant wad of them, and then just go right back down, or just hover across the road and completely screw your morning up. Now, don't get me wrong, we've gotten short stops. We've gotten it.
Yeah, we got short stopped on this trip.
We've gotten it handed to us many, many, many of times up here. But it just seems like they act a little bit different. That gives you it's like going to a casino, right, and playing blackjack, and you have
A
like
single deck versus six
exactly
decks.
like they give you just a little bit more odds that you're
Yes,
like, okay,
no,
we have a
100%.
chance of taking advantage of this.
We always call the snow goose game a high risk, high reward game, and I just think that gives you here. It's a little higher reward than it is once you cross the border.
The house just doesn't take as much.
That's right, no doubt.
My suggestion to everyone is to not come up to Saskatchewan.
I knew that was coming.
You would rather stay home, and we'll deal with all the issues up here.
If you like
and all
sleep
this- all the-
deprivation, this is the place for you.
That is no shit. Oh my God. It has been a grind. And we've done it before, but I don't know why every year it seems like it gets harder and harder.
Because you're
and harder.
getting older every
Older
year.
and older.
Yeah, funny guy.
Yeah,
Um,
and then me and Dakota just sandwich you after the hunt today and just absolutely demolish your back.
Yeah.
It was already hurting.
He's
Yeah,
got
I
an
don't know. I
injury. It's
tweaked it when
spinal.
I was cutting grass for the blind, and then
You know you're getting
you'll
old
see
when
it in
you
the
tweak.
episode.
You know
You'll
you're
see it in
getting
the
old when
episode.
you tweak your back cutting grass.
All right, is it time to announce a winner?
Yes,
Or
because
do we have any
no,
more?
no.
We got something else? You got something?
because Season 12 is coming up starting in August.
You put me on the spot for that?
Yeah, well, we talked about it in
I
the
got-
very first episode that we were going to kind of pre-sell and front sell the fact that.
I can't give away everything yet.
No, don't. Okay, then tease something.
Tease something.
Can you tease something?
we got
Do you have
some
anything
new.
that's
We
in-
No,
got
I don't want to tease the big one just
we
because it's not
potentially
done.
have
It's
some
not there
brand
yet.
new
Here it
things
is,
we've
folks.
never
Drum
done.
roll.
It's not happening.
There will be a Season 12.
There it is.
There it is, right there.
There may be some new things we've never done before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
We always try to do that. I mean, we have our spots, and if you're ever wondering that, I guess if you're a hardcore Heartland Waterfowl watcher, and you're like, man, these guys go to some of the same spots every year. Well, yeah, wouldn't you? When you find a place that you know and you are familiar with,
Because there's
um,
awesome
better yet,
dudes and
comment.
awesome hunting.
Comment on this video.
Where
places-
do you want us to go?
Yeah. What do you want to see? What kind of birds do you want to shoot? Comment
yeah,
on the video.
That's a really good idea.
Let's
yeah.
see, and then maybe we can figure out a way to make something like that happen.
And it would be even more beneficial if it's something different than what we've done before, and you've got a suggestion and you've got a connection to help us make that happen.
Yeah.
So put that in the comments.
Here's the deal. At the end of the day, the Mississippi and Central Flyway is as good as it gets, and it's
No
just
doubt.
really hard to
Deviate from.
stray away from that. It's just a difficult thing to do.
After all, we are
And-
Heartland Waterfowl.
I'm a creature of habit,
That
and
is true.
and by God, I like the places we go. I like going and doing our own thing as much as we possibly can do, and I think we do an awesome job of that. And I mean, we've seen a lot. We've seen it from the top to the bottom of the flyaway, and we know typically where the birds are going to be and where we can go to be successful. So it's hard to justify, changing some of that. Now, would I like to go back to Colorado? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Vance.
Vance.
We're out here, buddy.
Tyler. Kimberly.
No, they've asked us to come back anytime.
It just
We're-
never
we
works out
know
with the
we know we're welcome. So we need to obviously think about doing that.
Man, that is some good hunting out there.
I would. No, I'm not. I don't say that. I was going to say, I would like to get back down to Arkansas. I would like to do some timber duck hunting, but gosh dang, I hate battling the mud and the rain. And today just even solidified that even more. But no, everyone knows Kansas is my bread and butter. I will go there till the day I die. I'd rather hunt out there than pretty well anywhere else. Obviously, we're going back to Canada, North Dakota, top of the list. Wyoming, top of the list. Texas, top of the list.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oklahoma.
we're hitting
We're
the best states in the country to hunt waterfowl, cranes, snows, ducks, whatever the case may be. Now, there are places I would like to go. I'd like to hunt the Snake River in Idaho. I'd love to go hunt Montana some way, shape, or form.
Washington.
Upstate.
I'd like to shoot ducks in Washington.
Washington State, widgeons and mallards up there. It would be fun to hunt like Northern California. The problem is that, I mean, this drive for us up to Canada's 22 hours, and anything up in the upper Northwest is further
It's
than
a
that.
couple day drive.
It's just almost impossible for us to travel to do that type of stuff. So that makes it very, very difficult. But
Not that we haven't flown before.
yeah, it's
There
just
were some different.
something to say about
Something-
having your own rig and trailer.
Well, no
and
doubt. That's just it. You would have to have somebody that you're going to hunt with that is aligned with the same
Maybe-
products that maybe we need to talk to Corey Foskett. It's
maybe,
free.
yeah, maybe what can happen is we can fly and you can drive
There we
the
go.
trailer there.
Well, how did this come back to be on me?
Well, you
I don't
made a comment about it, so
No, I was just saying that we would be cool if we could align with somebody who's already in that area so that we could fly and all of the sponsored products align with what he's already got.
okay.
Yeah, that
All
would
right.
be cool.
All right.
And that's when I brought up Corey Foskett from Tango Free because most of what we're
oh.
bringing in a trailer are decoys. So Corey Foskett, come on, let's
Yep,
go.
Here we are. We're right here. We're over
My
here.
suggestion is to pick a winner for the Blue Otter.
Yeah,
Or
we gotta go.
sunglasses,
We gotta
'cause
get out of
we're,
here. We're
not going to have any time to scout
we
tonight.
need to
time
go
is it?
scout.
Oh yeah, we're late.
Yep,
We're
yep.
very late.
Hey, but that was good. That was some good substance, guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Well,
get beat to the field by another Kansas folk.
No doubt,
You know who
no
you
doubt.
are.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't listen.
No.
Yeah,
All
he's
right,
trying to
so-
get all the information he can.
Blue Otter Polarized. Carmen, I just want to say thank you so much for your partnership. We love the sunglasses. If you're not familiar with Blue Otter Polarized, it's a company that's majority owned by country star Luke Combs and some of the most popular names in country music like Cody Johnson and Hardy and Riley Green, and I'm sure I'm leaving others out. They have their own signature sunglasses that you can purchase. These sunglasses are phenomenal. The thing that I appreciate about what they're doing is they're actually not just making sunglasses, they're creating technology for waterfowl hunters. So they have their signature duck lenses. That's what they call them. They're for low light situations. They are really incredible. And they're even coming out with more lenses as they have a partnership with Zeiss. If you're familiar with the outdoor space and you know, optics and glass and those things, you know, Zeiss has done very well for themselves. And so these sunglasses are incredible. And they got some really cool swag too. And so we are going to offer one of our fans who's been engaging in our content over the week or so that we've been up here in Saskatchewan hunting these snow geese. You have to like, comment, and obviously subscribe to the Heartland Waterfowl YouTube channel. We'll be back next season with the same opportunities, lots of giveaways, hopefully for every single trip. But we want you to tell your friends. Obviously, we're trying to build something here. And so that's the incentive is we give you free stuff. You help us with our algorithm. So all that being said, the winner is, drum roll, please.
Who we got? Who we got? Who we got?
Matt Bankston.
Matt Bankston. Oh my. He's going to be flabbergasted.
Matt Bankston, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say is maybe the most loyal Heartland Waterfowl fan that we have.
Top notch guy.
This guy comments on everything, absolutely loves what we do. He comes to the premiere every single year, which again, by the way, Logan hit on that. April 28th is the Heartland Premier Charity Golf Classic. Heartland.
June.
Sorry, what'd I say?
June.
You just went back in time.
You said April.
Jeez.
You went back in time.
I don't know why I did that.
He's got a lack of sleep.
June 28th, thank you. Friday, June 28th is the Heartland Premier Charity Golf Classic. Saturday, June 29th is the Heartland Premier in conjunction with Heartland Bow Hunter at Stony Creek Hotel and Conference Center in Independence, Missouri. It's an absolutely free event. Matt Bankston comes to that every single year.
Bankston won.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
No doubt. No doubt. So, hey,
Matt
Matt,
Bankston
thank
won.
you so much, dude, for all of your love and loyalty to Heartland Waterfowl over the years. We really appreciate you, and we hope that you enjoy the new pair of sunglasses and swag from Blue Otter Polarized. I will also, in closing, mention this, that because you didn't win anybody other than Matt, and you're interested in what Blue Otter Polarized has to offer, definitely take advantage of the discount that you get by using promo code HW10. Go check out their website. Anything you want there, you will save by using promo code HW10. So go check them out at blueotterpolarized.com. Anything else before we wrap this up?
Nope.
We
got one left.
We got one
We
left.
got to go find the good one.
Thank you to everyone for the support and the love and the messages and the tags, and we love seeing it all. So without you guys, we wouldn't get to do a lot of the stuff. So thanks to you guys, and let's go kill snow geese one more time.
Yeah,
One more day.
So, once again, Touch Your Hearing, the title sponsor of the Behind the Blind podcast from Heartland Waterfowl. Go find them online at touchyourhearing.com. A lot of great new technology coming out in 2024. Save your ears. Go check it out. They got some really cool stuff at touchyourhearing.com. For Alex Diecedue and Logan Burditt, I'm Ronnie Philps. Thank you for checking out the Behind the Blind podcast from Heartland Waterfowl. We'll see you
Signing off.
next August.
One more out, one sign off.